Boom. All right. Welcome, YouTubers, TikTokers. We are ready to jump in. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. Welcome, everybody. Crazy news day out of nowhere. A lot of decent amount of news today, but also just got really bad really fast. Holy crap. Some crazy news breaking. I am John Aravosis. Welcome, everybody. This is the Aravosis Report, my nightly show. We talk about the latest news from the U.S., from Trump, but also Ukraine. I'm going to actually jump right in here because I didn't want to. Lately, the shows have been taking too long to get rolling, and I notice when I edit them later, we sort of don't start. And for the rebroadcast on TikTok and YouTube, or YouTube especially, that doesn't really help. So here's the crazy breaking news, guys. Donald Trump has reportedly just cut off all U.S. aid to Ukraine, to Jordan, and to Taiwan. That is the breaking news from Politico. A crazy story. I mean, an absolutely insane story. A story that the Russians and the Chinese and any terrorist groups in the Middle East are jumping for joy over. Politico reports that Trump, as part of his suspension of foreign aid, Trump is suspending all U.S. foreign aid for the next 90 days. That includes military aid. But hang on. Good point. I'm going to put my microphone back in on TikTok. 1 second. There we go, TikTokers. Sorry about that. So Trump has suspended all U.S. foreign aid across the board, military aid. We were told by the Pentagon, I think it was yesterday, that Ukraine was going to be exempt, that he wasn't going to cut off all money to Ukraine. In fact, we just found out from the State Department that Trump has cut all U.S. military aid to Ukraine, to Jordan, and to Taiwan. I mean, guys, this is insane. This is absolutely insane. This is all we know. The story's just breaking. It's absolutely insane. The order, which shocked State Department officials, appears to apply to funding for military assistance to Ukraine, Politico says. One current State Department official plus two former Biden administration officials said the pause appears to stop aid to key allies such as Ukraine, Jordan, and Taiwan. I mean, okay, Jordan in the Middle East, huge ally of America. I mean, Jordan is a huge ally of the U.S. in the Middle East. But Taiwan? My God, you're cutting off military aid to Taiwan? I mean, the Chinese government is in joy right now. The Russian government is in joy right now. Trump has cut off all U.S. military aid to Ukraine? I mean, let's hope that this story this is what the State Department is saying. This is what Marco Rubio's State Department is saying. It's in the Politico article. I just pulled it up. It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. Let us hope that the State Department clarifies, because this is pretty bad, guys. I mean, this is very bad, because you can't, again, I care about Ukraine, but my God, Taiwan? Trump's first act is going to be to cut off U.S. aid to Taiwan? That's insane. I mean, that's absolutely insane. Anyway, welcome, everybody. So yes, it is a crazy show today. I am John Aravosis. Hi from Denmark, Karsten. We're going to talk about you next. You're on the ticket today as well for crazy stories. Welcome, everybody. I'm John Aravosis. I am a foreign policy expert in Washington, D.C. I do this show every night, Monday to Friday evening. I'm also a former journalist. I've written for The Economist. I am a lawyer, went to Georgetown Law here in Washington, Georgetown Foreign Service School. Thank you, Lee Shaw. A lot of background and a lot of things related to this. And I do a show where we talk about the latest news from America, typically about Trump, what's going on with him, and then about what's going on with Ukraine in specific. And tonight, as I said, the breaking news from Politico is that the Trump administration has cut off all U.S. foreign military aid to Taiwan, to Jordan, and to Ukraine for the next 90 days so they can review it. I mean, crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Let me do a quick intro. Remember, guys, tomorrow, just a quick reminder, tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, U.S., Saturday morning, I will be hosting my coffee talk that I do just for paid subscribers. So my monthly subscribers on TikTok, folks with SNN next to their name, my monthly subscribers on YouTube, the green name folks, and the monthly subscribers on Discord, Ko-fi, etc. All of you guys are welcome. And you can access through those programs. So the TikTok people come via TikTok, YouTube, Discord. It'll be 11 a.m. Eastern time US. That's 11 a.m. Washington, D.C. or New York City time. We very much trust Politico. Yes, Bill. Politico is an excellent publication. Oh, yeah. Absolutely, positively. Excellent publication here in Washington. Oh, gosh. Crazy day today. So that was our first crazy story. Second crazy story, Trump is Trump is threatening to not send any aid to California with the natural disaster. As you guys know, California is having horrific fires going on in California. Trump is threatening to not send any money now because he wants California to pass some voter registration laws that he wants, that Republicans have been pushing for years. Democrats argue that the Republican laws actually are an effort to stop minorities from voting. Nonetheless, it has nothing to do with the fire. And Trump is saying now, thank you, Pedro, that he is not going to provide the disaster aid to California unless California changes its voting laws. This has never been done in the history of our country. We have never tied disaster aid for any state to any kind of partisan political goal. You always provide the disaster aid to the state. It doesn't matter if they're Democrats. It doesn't matter if they're Republicans. We always help. Tornadoes, hurricanes, floods, fires, we help. And Trump, for the first time, is saying he is not going to provide aid to California unless California passes this new law for voting. It should be noted that back when Trump was president the first time, he also refused to provide aid for a previous California fire. At the time, Trump told his aides that the Californians voted for Hillary Clinton, and therefore Trump, as president, was not going to help them in the natural disaster that struck the state. Trump's aides had to go and get data and show Trump that a lot of Republicans in California had actually voted for him. And that was the only thing that convinced Trump to actually turn around and support aid to California. So that's our second crazy story. The third crazy story, Trump, and this is a little more for Americans, Trump has also said today he's thinking of eliminating FEMA altogether. FEMA is our emergency management agency. It's our agency that responds to natural disasters. It's the federal agency that comes in and helps when your state gets wiped out by tornadoes, by floods, by hurricanes, by fires. And Trump said today he wants to get rid of FEMA entirely because he doesn't think it's necessary. He said in the future he'd like to just provide the money. The government can give the states some money and let the states address the problem because states are better at addressing these problems than the federal government. The problem is Trump was not aware that FEMA, actually the way it works, the way the Federal Emergency Management Agency works, it only gets involved in states and helps when the governor of the state says, I can't do this. This disaster is too big for my state to handle, and we need the federal government to come in and help us. So Trump is literally saying now he's going to get rid of FEMA because the states can do it better when FEMA exists only when the states can't do it better. Per se, the states can't do it better when the governor says, FEMA, come in. So that's insane. Then we've got Fauci stripped of his security detail. Donald Trump, in the last couple of days, stripped the security because of death threats against multiple officials from his previous administration. Trump is angry at them. And even though there are death threats against them, he now is no longer going to provide them security. Earlier, we found out that Trump took away security details, federal security protection from Mike Pompeo, who's his former Secretary of State, from another top official, Brian Hook, I think was his name, and from John Bolton, who was Donald Trump's national security advisor. The Iranians have been trying to kill these three men in response to Trump having killed the Iranian general Soleimani back in the year 2000. The Iranians basically sent hit squads in order to kill these top three American officials. That is why they were getting federal protection. Trump removed the protection, leaving them open now to the Iranian hit squads because he doesn't like them. He then did the same thing to Fauci today. Dr. Fauci is probably the most famous doctor in America, has spent his life working in government research, everything from AIDS now all the way to COVID, infectious diseases. And Fauci took the lead on the COVID response, did an amazing job. And Republicans turned on Fauci, this 80-year-old man who's an amazing doctor, turned on him as part of their effort to sort of debase the whole COVID thing, right? In terms of to spread the disinformation about COVID, they then attacked Fauci. Well, Fauci was getting death threats because of Donald Trump and other attacks on him over COVID. Trump is now removing the federal protection that Fauci got because he was receiving death threats from Trump supporters. That was another great story. The other crazy story today, I've got a lot of other news, but we've had a lot of really bad stories. The other really bad story is Donald Trump, we find out via the Financial Times, threatened Denmark. Basically, the Danish prime minister had what is called a horrific call with Trump. I think the word was horrendous they used. Horrendous phone call with Trump. The Danes thought that Trump, when he was demanding Greenland, was doing it as some sort of stunt in order to use it to get more U.S. access to bases, basically using it as a bargaining chip, saying the U.S. is going to go and take Greenland away from Denmark. Thank you, Paul Gray, for the gift on YouTube. Well, according to the conversation Trump had with the Danish prime minister, which, by the way, was last week, which would make the conversation illegal. Trump is not allowed to reach out to foreign heads of state and involve himself in U.S. foreign policy. That's against federal law, but unfortunately, that's what he did. Thank you, mods. You are doing a good job, by the way, Poppy. That was perfect. Trump called the Danish prime minister, and the Danes were horrified. The Danes reportedly were shocked. They are in a panic now because Trump made clear in his call he was belligerent, he was mean, he was angry. He made clear that he is going to take Greenland from Denmark, that it's not just a bargaining chip. The Danes aren't sure what to do at this point. He said he was going to hit Denmark with massive tariffs. Now, that should be interesting because Ozempic comes from Denmark. That is the miracle drug that a lot of Americans are using to lose weight. If Denmark were to turn that off and not provide it to America, I would imagine a lot of Americans would not be very happy. This also now provides a real crisis for the European Union, but also for Europe overall, including the UK, because you basically have Trump now threatening, really militarily, a European ally and a NATO ally. And what is Europe going to do to stand up? And I would argue, if I absolutely understand Europe's desire not to stand up to Trump, but if they do not stand up to Trump, they are going to embolden him in very much the same way that the argument we made about Putin. In terms of standing up to Russia and not standing up to Russia, we are now seeing the exact same thing with Trump. If you want to see more of your countries bullied to the point where we're talking land will be taken away from you, then you have to decide whether you're going to stand up to him now. But I bet you if NATO stands up to him, he backs down. He would get to a point but he backs down. I mean, NATO should be frankly, they should be sending troops and boats to protect Greenland at this point, and let Trump pull something, because I don't think people at home would be very thrilled about that, about any kind of a military conflict with Europe. I think Americans would not be happy about that. So the good job again, Manda and Poppy both. Only because I'm seeing sort of who you're going after, and I think that's perfect because exactly, let's just keep the troublemakers away. Very bad across the board. Crazy across the board. Let me give a quick pitch, guys, because I didn't do it at the top of the show. I do this show for free. I do it for a living. Your gifts are what pay the bills. I got to tell you, the gifts have been pretty bad the last several months. They were good when we were afraid of losing TikTok, but the gifts have been kind of non-existent. I only say it because I do this full time, and for creators on TikTok and YouTube and elsewhere who are actually trying to make a living doing this, we need support. Thank you, Flower. Now, Flower Lady, I feel bad though, because Flower Lady is always helping out. So thank you. Thank you, Sinstar, as well. But that's why. If and for other creators as well, if you see people who are doing really good videos, I mean, not just people doing lives every day. I mean, I think of Parker and those guys too, right? I mean, he's doing this full time, but people who are doing like, what's his face, who I love? I'm forgetting the Texan who now lives in Key West, who does the great food videos, Shay Spencer. He spends a lot of time editing his videos and stuff too. People like that need support because they're doing this. They're doing this to make a living. Thank you, Bowie. Thank you, Spider. Thank you, Carol. Cheyenne. Others. Magnus. Spita. Thank you, guys. So yes, just if you can, I appreciate the help. You cannot buy coins on iOS. That is true. You have to go. Aaron Parnas as well. Yep. Midas Touch. Go and buy coins on your computer. If you go to my phone, you still might be able to do it on your phone. If you go to my profile on TikTok and look at the Linktree link and click it, the first thing that comes up is a link to buy TikTok coins. If you go to the web to buy them, you will be saving a lot of money. Actually, A, you'll be able to do it, and B, you'll be saving a lot of money, like 25%. It's cheaper to actually buy them on the web. And I think you can do that with your thank you. Who's that? Phyllis, thank you. Or Philip for the Paddington hat. I think you can do it on your phone, but you'd have to see. You'd probably have to copy that link and put it into your phone's browser. And thank you, Syndicate. I don't really post it on YouTube because the YouTube people aren't really on TikTok right now, but nonetheless, I appreciate it being shared. You can do it on your phone. Okay, good. So if you use that link and go to the website, you can do it. So, you know what? Remind me, Mark, about the Birthright executive order in a bit. I want to get through the rest of the news that I wanted to cover, but happy to chat about that again. What else we got here? Ukraine. It has been 3 days since, is 3 days now? Yes. It has been 3 days since Donald Trump promised to end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours. He has not. Thank you, Jose. Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Decky. Thank you, NJ Patman. You are always generous. The Ukraine news, we had a lot of Ukraine news today too, actually, beyond the breaking news that Trump appears to have cut off all U.S. aid to Ukraine, to Taiwan, and to Jordan. That according to Politico, which is kind of crazy. Moscow is saying that they want a ban on Ukraine's entry to NATO as a key condition in resolving the war. This is not surprising. Right? I mean, of course, the Russians are going to demand that Ukraine never be allowed to join NATO. The Russians are making a lot of demands. They've demanded that Zelensky not be allowed to be president anymore. They're now demanding that Ukraine can never join NATO. Now they're demanding that Ukraine can't even have NATO peacekeepers on its territory to preserve the peace after the war, which is crazy. I mean, basically, Russia wants Ukraine to be powerless. They want Ukraine to be in their orbit, and they want to preserve the right to invade Ukraine again. The only way to stop the Russians from invading Ukraine again in 3 years, 5 years, 6 years is to either have Ukraine join NATO, which I don't think is going to happen anytime soon, or to station NATO troops as peacekeepers in Ukraine, because it basically provides a tripwire, which gives the Russians an incentive not to invade. So that's why the Russians don't want them there, because eventually they probably would like to invade again. Little more here. Trump did criticize Zelensky yesterday. This was sort of an odd thing. He said Zelensky is no angel. He wanted to fight. Zelensky wanted to fight at the war's onset. Zelensky shouldn't have allowed this to happen. He's no angel. Well, actually, if Trump had checked on the details here and had watched the war, Zelensky was negotiating with the Russians before the war, trying to stop it, and the Russians invaded anyway, after promising they weren't going to invade. And Zelensky then fought the Russians because they invaded his country with a couple 100,000 men and started bombing the Ukrainians. That's why Zelensky fought back against the Russians. So to suggest that Zelensky is no angel for fighting back against the Russians, in fact, I would say that's the definition of an angel, is a patriot in their country, that once your country is invaded, right, you go over there. I see. I'm just laughing because one of the trolls said, bring our troops home. We don't have any troops in Ukraine. So success. We win. Thank you, Stulb, for the gift there on TikTok. Little more here. Hang on. Um, okay, this was interesting. Trump accused Putin of stealing U.S. plans for hypersonic missiles. Thank you for the cake there, Janice. The Russians have had this hypersonic missile that they launched that did okay. They did okay. It didn't, it didn't, it was no big deal. They tried to scare everybody. It did okay. Actually, didn't our Patriot missiles shoot it down? Remind me if I'm wrong. Thank you, Grace. Remind me if I'm wrong, but didn't our Patriot missiles in Ukraine shoot down the Russian hypersonic missiles? I thought they did. Am I wrong about that? Somebody correct me here if I'm wrong. But I thought they did. Thank you, Jensen, in Denmark. Okay, they did. That's what I thought. No, I thought they did. Well, Trump is saying that the Russians stole their hypersonic missiles from us. He said today. Now he's made this claim before. He says that he told Fox News that some bad person gave the Russians the design. Russia stole the design. They got it from us, Trump said. The U.S. is developing super hypersonic missiles, which is even a step better. In 2023, Trump called them super duper hypersonic missiles. So the Russians have hypersonic missiles, and Trump says ours are better because we call them super hypersonic missiles or super duper missiles. So now, actually, the reason I bring this story up is it's interesting and useful because if Trump is pissed at the Russians for stealing our technology, that's a good thing, right? Anytime Trump is saying anything that's critical of the Russians, it shows that he's not in the same mindset he was years ago, where he seemed to be somewhat sycophantic of the Russians. He seemed to be sort of pandering, trying to placate them, trying to make Putin like him. And lately, we talked about this on yesterday's show as well. Lately, there's been a greater effort by Trump, it seems, to distance himself from Putin, but also criticize Putin. Could be a trap, Karakuk. But as I said yesterday, if I could have Donald Trump who sucks up to Putin or Donald Trump who criticizes Putin, I would rather have the Donald Trump who criticizes Putin. So you know what? I'm going to welcome his comments. I'm going to trust but verify, which Reagan said to do with the Soviets, but it is still better to have him do this. The article on Taiwan is in Politico. And Politico is an excellent publication here in Washington. Some more stories. This is interesting too. Trump said today, yesterday, Trump said in an interview that he wants to engage North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un. Overall, he wants to reach out to him again. That fascinates me because Kim is obviously very close to Putin. He's very isolated in the world. I worry about Trump. Trump's reaching out to Kim last time. They exchanged a lot of love letters, as Trump called it. But Trump's own people, Rubio even said that it's not clear that Trump really achieved anything by reaching out to Kim. But nonetheless, because of the Russians working with the North Koreans, I do not oppose Trump trying to reach out to the North Koreans. If he can somehow, I don't know, pull them away somewhat from the Russians, that would not be a bad thing, would not be a bad thing. Ukraine is finalizing reforms to attract 18 to 25-year-olds to the military. As you may remember, the U.S. has been hounding Ukraine that they need to draft men as young as 18. Ukraine has been avoiding drafting its youngest men. They say because they've got a demographic crisis, they basically would be losing the next generation. They're already losing a lot of men, but they'd be losing the next generation. So they do not want to do that. But nonetheless, it seems Ukraine's making changes that might head it in the direction of drafting younger men. Interesting. And finally, reportedly protests erupted in more than 20 Slovak cities under the slogan "Slovakia is Europe." And they're targeting the government of Prime Minister Robert Fico, who is a pro-Russian, anti-Ukraine, anti-Europe guy. So very interesting. I think the opposition is pushing for a no confidence vote. So it'd be fun if they could get rid of him, but who knows? Thank you, Ricky. Thank you, Dawn. Thank you, Yoreed. That is it for the news. I will go back to my top story tonight. Politico is reporting that as part of Donald Trump's effort to freeze American foreign aid, including military aid, so he can review it for 90 days, the State Department today froze American aid to Ukraine, to Taiwan, and to Jordan. Jordan is like our top Arab ally in the Middle East. Insane that we would freeze aid to Jordan. Ukraine, you just don't stop giving weapons to Ukraine unless you work out some deal with Russia, right? I mean, right? You've got to. I mean, Ukraine already said they're happy to negotiate. You don't give the you don't give the Russians a freebie by cutting off aid to Ukraine. And Taiwan is crazy. Why would Trump cut off U.S. military aid to Taiwan when we are currently worried about a possible war in the future with China over Taiwan? This is, but not aid to Israel or Egypt. Israel and Egypt have been exempt from this ban. But again, according to Politico, which is a very trustworthy publication here in Washington, D.C., Donald Trump has just cut off via the State Department all U.S. military aid to Ukraine, Jordan, and Taiwan. Again, crazy, crazy, crazy move to be making. All right, let's talk. Lots to talk about. That was kind of quick tonight, though. That was like kind of a half hour. That was only half an hour, but it was like a ton of news. I mean, that was a ton of big news tonight. So yeah, let's talk about it, guys. Remember, tomorrow morning, we've got our show in the morning. Thank you, Succeed, for the gift. Keep the gifts coming, guys. We've got our show in the morning that we do for the paid monthly subscribers as a thank you to you all. Love you all. So please join me Saturday morning on TikTok at 11 a.m., on YouTube at 11 a.m., and on Discord at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, U.S. I did read the article, Karakuk. I had already seen it. Yes, that the Defense Department, actually a number of agencies have cut off their social media. A lot of the health agencies have too, which has been causing problems. Oh, man. Interesting. And he says Taiwan was about to get 29 Abrams tanks and HIMARS from the U.S. I have no idea. I have a hard time believing this ban is going to stand because Trump's Republican allies are not going to want cutting off Jordan, and cutting off Taiwan is crazy. I cannot see that. Oh, hey, Franny. By the way, very generous of Franny right there on YouTube, celebrating 3 years of following you. Thank you for easing my anxiety. No problem. Of course, I may be upping your anxiety lately. Although the good thing is the Trump anxiety is different, right? The anxiety of the last 3 years was a lot of people worrying about Russia and war with Russia. And I've been telling you not to worry about war. We are not going to war with Russia. And that is still true. The Trump anxiety, though, there's anxiety there that is, valid, shall we say. Definitely valid. But, what do you do? What do you do? My table got scratched. How did that happen? I'll have to get one of those little, yikes. My table got gouged. I hate when that happens. I have to get one of those little pens, which I own actually. So you can touch your tabletop and make it clean again. Oh my God. Thank you, Syndicate. Appreciate the messages. One quick pitch as well to everybody on TikTok. I'm not going to talk a lot about the TikTok ban. I think they don't want us talking about it as well. So I'm trying to be good here, but it's not clear what's happening next. We are in the period now where the TikTok app is still not back in the Apple Store or the Google Store. They are not comfortable carrying the app. We are in the period now that we were afraid of, although not the bad period. This is better than we expected. We were afraid of TikTok shutting down, which it did briefly, but we're in the period now where the app is no longer in the App Store, and there could come a day that this app is no longer compatible with the iPad or the iPhone or your Google phone because we can't get updates because the App Store won't take the app. So this is the period we worried about with the app deprecating, as we call it in technology circles. It could be days, it could be months, it could be 6 months, it could be a long time, it could not be a long time. We don't know. So just keep that in mind. Now, the good news is, Trump is saying only 72 days left in his, I'm not going to go after Google and Apple, right? I was thinking about it today. We actually potentially have more than 72 days. All Trump's promise was that he wouldn't go after Google and Apple if they house the TikTok app, but they're not housing it. They're not letting it on their stores. Trump's promise doesn't matter right now because the app isn't there. If the 72 days runs out on Trump's promise, he'll say, well, now I'm going to go after TikTok and Apple or Google and Apple, but he can't because their app isn't in the App Store. My point is, this doesn't really run out in 72 days. That's the good thing. What we don't know is how long the app's going to work. So please make sure to follow me on that social media place right there for YouTube, TikTokers. Follow me there. All your other folks too, go and follow them, on Instagram, on Twitter. All of our socials are in the profile, all of mine. Go to my profile, click the Linktree link. You'll find all my socials. But keep checking because I am very worried about what happens next. I am aiming on TikTok that there is a little thing that has my YouTube address on the screen. But yeah, so a little bit worried about that. Oops. Oh, funny. There shouldn't be buffering. I switched back to my good internet, so who knows? Anyway, after 72 days, if Apple were to put the app up, they would be subject to fines, large fines. They're not going to do it. Yeah, they wouldn't do it. Yeah, I'm not sure why there'd be buffering because I'm back on my good internet today, so who knows? The winter boots, I'm not familiar with the winter boots. What is that? I don't know what that is. Yeah. I mean, anyway, that's my bottom line is don't think we're out of the woods yet. I would make sure you follow your favorite creators on other platforms to be safe. TikTok is still my top platform. I want TikTok to stay, and I want to keep doing everything that we do with you guys. This is my number one place. No offense, YouTube, but TikTok is a bigger audience and frankly brings in a lot more money as far as for me to pay the bills. But we got to be prepared for what comes next, and we don't know what's coming next. Anyway, don't know which. Oh, Jose, is that the bill so that Trump can run again? Yeah, there's a Republican congressman offering legislation. Thank you, Marie, for the hat and mustache. A Republican congressman offering legislation that would allow Trump to run for a third term. Under the Constitution, he is not allowed to run for a third term. It would be very hard for them to change that. I think they'd try. Thank you, Addie. But under U.S. law, he is only allowed to be president twice. So thank you, Addie. So yes, not clear that anything's going to happen with that, but still. Anyway, thank you again, Franny, for that. That was very nice of you. What else we got, guys? I don't know, Invictus. Oh, the flowers. I love the thank you, Marcy, for the flowers. Invictus is asking, who do you think will be the first person in Trump's administration to get fired? Well, he already was. Vivek Ramaswamy. He was one of the two guys working with Elon Musk. He and Elon Musk were the two guys that were going to be looking at government efficiency. And supposedly they were going to cut $2 trillion out of the U.S. $6 trillion budget, which is impossible. You can't do that. Well, Vivek just got fired he left because he had made some statements that were very bad about Americans having a bad culture and that American culture is bad and produces bad workers. And then it was really bad. I mean, it was bad what he said. So he's no longer there. So he's the first one gone. Elon is on thin ice. The thing with Elon Musk is he's the richest guy in the world. So Trump is in a weird situation with him. Elon the other day. So Elon Musk has been, not sure whether there's a stable connection. It's funny. I'm on my good Wi-Fi today. So I don't know why there'd be an unstable connection. Who knows? Sorry, guys. Nothing I can do about it at this point. Weird. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Sorry, but I'm having how is the TikTok going today? I'm having a bad connection on Discord at the moment. Now, Discord, I will tell you, you know what? I'm going to exit and come back. Discord from the beginning was going very slow. Let me hang on the rest of you. I'm going to exit and come back on Discord. But I could tell Discord, my hand motions were slow. Everything was slow. It was really weird. So I wonder whether Discord itself is just having a bad. TikTok's been fine. That's good, at least. All right, let's try Discord again. One quick second. All right, listen in. And All right. All right. Let's see if I don't know whether leaving and coming back will help on Discord, but it could. So it doesn't hurt to at least try. Um, but yep, I left and came back to see if it would help the connection. So let's see, Dave, how that works. Tonk, member for 17 months. I am from Australia, so pardon the ignorance, but is Trump keen at bending the elbow? Oh, oh, that means drinking? I've never heard that term before. Or maybe something else. Um, that is a difficult question to answer because TikTok doesn't let us discuss things like that. Um, so I can't really get into that. Um, I can, I'm afraid to even discuss the topic because TikTok doesn't let us discuss those things. Trump claims he does not that. Um, that's what Trump says, right? Trump says a lot of things. People believe him because Trump says it, but you know, I mean, Trump says a lot of things, right? So, but that's all I know. Nicholas, I've never heard that term. That's so funny. That's so funny. Yeah, Discord seems to have some kind of weird connection issue often, sadly. But if it's good so far, that's good. And YouTube, the connection's acting normal. So I don't know, Tonka. Appreciate that, by the way, and your support for 17 months. The impact of leaving WHO, I don't know, Elias. I will tell you. I worked at the United Nations. I was an employee at UNDP full time. I mean, I was hired the real way. And, you know, I am not impressed with the United Nations. It is a corrupt organization, employed by a lot of lazy people, frankly. So I would have to know a hell of a lot about the WHO, which I don't know, before I would reach a decision, positive or negative, on Trump cutting them off. But I would say, from what I know about UNDP, I am predisposed to not caring about UN headquarters getting cut off because UNDP could use it. A lot of them, UNICEF could use it. A lot of them could use the US cutting off money to the headquarters. The headquarters are terrible. They're absolutely terrible. And again, there are a lot of lazy people working there. The UN headquarters agencies spend most of their time trying to get more money. Like, our job was basically just to get more money from we spent your money that all you governments gave to get more money from you. I mean, it was ridiculous. Like, we were lobbyists. Absolutely ridiculous. Now, what WHO probably does, like UNDP supposedly does good work in the countries themselves. Supposedly. I have no way to know if that's true. That's what people say. At headquarters, they do terrible work. I did see your message, user 1943. I suspect it will. He's saying that that the war will end in Ukraine in 2025. That is what Trump is trying to do. Let's see if he's successful, but that is what he says he's going to do. But yeah. So in the countries, UNDP development program, who I worked for, supposedly does good work, but I will tell you the headquarters does terrible work. So I take it with a grain of salt, and WHO, maybe they do good work in the countries. I would not be surprised if the headquarters is just as much of a mess as all the other United Nations headquarters. They've got way too much money and a lot of people who don't want to work and who are corrupt. It's unfortunate. I mean, I say this as, like I said, I went there thinking this was amazing. And I came away thinking like a Republican about the United Nations, Thank you, Crazy American. I have not seen such footage, user 919. Nope. So Elon Musk on thin ice with Trump. Thank you, Ryan. I got off topic on that. So Elon, from the beginning, meaning like Trump wins the election, Elon was getting too much attention. Trump does not like attention. Okay. Attention to other people. He gets very upset with that. And Elon was getting all the attention, but Trump was also in part doing it. Trump goes to France for the opening of Notre Dame Cathedral, and he brings Elon Musk with. So Trump was making Elon basically his co-president. He wasn't even bringing JD Vance with. He was bringing Elon, his co-president. So, Elon stole Trump's thunder, but Trump helped Elon steal his thunder. Well, Trump supposedly was getting annoyed by it. Insiders were saying he was getting annoyed with Elon getting, because Trump does not want other people getting attention. Well, a couple days ago, Trump, as one of the first things he does as president, announces an up to 500 billion with a B billion-dollar artificial intelligence program to build artificial intelligence infrastructure in America. Elon, and he has like big executives there to announce it at the White House. Elon immediately tweets that they don't have any money. Basically that it's BS, that it's not, it's BS. I saw that syndicate. Yeah. That it's BS. And then he went on about, they don't have any money. You don't do that. Elon works for Donald Trump. Elon running this government efficiency thing, task force that Trump has him in charge of, means he works for Trump. He should be careful what he says to start with, because he works for Trump. Second of all, and I've told, I'm, by the way, when I was at the UN, I was trying to teach my staff this because they didn't understand this. They wanted to tweet about work and stuff. And I was like, you will not be tweeting about work. Oh, can I write essays about work on LinkedIn? I'm like, no. Are you crazy? And they also didn't understand that you can't criticize work like publicly. Elon was criticizing his boss's huge initiative right after the boss announced it, right? Your boss announces a big initiative and you go public and say, that's a bunch of hooey. That will not go over well with Trump. The problem for Trump is, though, Elon, is the richest man in the world. Trump doesn't want to lose that. Trump wants Elon's money, Elon's power, because you carry a lot of money, power when you have that much money, but also you carry a lot of cachet. He wants the star power of Elon Musk pandering to him, so to speak. But he is not liking this stuff at all. Knowing Trump, he's not liking Elon doing this. So, anyway, it takes political experience to stay out of your employer's way. I guess it does, or just, I don't know, common sense. Thank you, Courtney, for the gift. Let me see here. Yeah, birthright citizenship. Thanks, Michaela. So yeah, somebody had asked early on when I hadn't finished the news yet about birthright citizenship. So Trump is trying to end. Okay, let's go back. Let's define birthright citizenship. Birthright citizenship in the U.S. My glasses are right here, but I don't like wearing them all the time. They're annoying. In the U.S., citizenship, a child being born, citizenship is based on the citizenship of the parents, but it's also based on where you're born. So if anybody is born in America, you become an American citizen just by being born here. We are one of the few countries that do that. Anybody, you're here as a tourist and you give birth, your baby gets a U.S. passport. It's a little crazy. Thank you, Edsel, I think. Nonetheless, it's U.S. law. It's in the U.S. Constitution. The courts have said the last time the courts took it up was 130 years ago. I'm a little agnostic on it because, unless you're the child of a diplomat, interesting. I'm a little, although actually, if you're born in an American hospital, I don't know. Are you sure about that? Either way, that's generally the way it works, right? They're called anchor babies. Trump put out an executive order. Thank you, Lord and Beast. Put out an executive order on Monday saying that we would no longer provide birthright citizenship to people who are here illegally and have children, or to people who are here as tourists, women who are here as tourists and have children. Now, the Russians famously would game the system as tourists. There are some you can Google them, big articles. Thank you, Cinderella. Big articles about Russian women coming here when they're pregnant as tourists in order to give birth so their child has an American passport. I find that a little creepy, to be honest. It's a little creepy. I will say this too, on the illegal immigrant thing. Well, here's the problem. I'm a lawyer. you got to do what the law says. If the law says these people get citizenship, they get citizenship. That's it. Um, I don't love the idea of somebody coming here illegally and their children get to automatically become American citizens. If you break the law, I think it ought to be. I think it ought to be suspended if you break the law. You shouldn't get those kind of benefits. But also, but again, if the law says you get it, then the law says you get it. I mean, and it looks so far like Trump is trying to do something that he's not allowed to do under the Constitution. It went to one judge already. The judge put a temporary stay on the law saying it can't be implemented pending the court case, which will happen like in the next 2 weeks. The judge did say it was blatantly unconstitutional, what Trump was doing. So he's going to rule against Trump. This will go to an appellate court, and then it may well go to the U.S. Supreme Court. Because there are a lot of conservative judges now in the Supreme Court, could they rule a different way? Maybe. But, thank you, Patty. Very generous of you. Appreciate that. Very generous of you. Could the Supreme Court rule with Trump? I mean, maybe, but people seem to think the law is pretty well established. That if you're born here, you get U.S. citizenship. I see. Gunther says it's part of the diplomatic agreement that children born to diplomats don't receive the host country's citizenship. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, that's interesting. All right. Thank you, Ruben, Courtney, for the gifts. Tish. Yeah. So that's what it is. So the judge put a hold on it. Trump's trying to get rid of it. Now, I will say this: Trump is very smart on the immigration stuff. He's being very harsh on the immigration stuff, but he's making sure to do things that I think would appeal to most people, right? Like, as a lawyer, I'm going to tell you, if the law says people can be Americans by being born here, then that's the way it is. That's the way it is. Thank you, Grace, for the gift. But making it about people here illegally makes you sympathetic to Trump, right? Because it's true. If you're here illegally, I don't love the idea of you coming here illegally in order to get your kid American citizenship. I don't like that. And if you're here as a tourist as well, I don't like the idea of somebody coming here as a tourist when they're about to give birth because they know that's why they're basically gaming the system. They're playing games. I don't like that. And Trump, I think, has been on the immigration stuff. He's trying to do stuff that I think, even though the immigration advocates won't like it, I think a lot of Americans will look and go, yeah, right. The asylum thing, turning away people who come here illegally. I'm sympathetic to turn away people who come illegally, to be honest. We've talked about this before. If you come here illegally, let me put it this way. If I go to Europe illegally, I expect to be turned away. I would love to live in Europe, in France, in Italy, England, maybe even. I would love to go live there. But if I snuck in illegally, I absolutely positively would expect you to kick me out and send me back to America. And no matter what I said, I would expect you to go, get out of here, right? You came here illegal. Asylum is illegal if you come here illegally first. That's the point. Asylum is legal if you do it the legal way. There is a legal and an illegal way to seek asylum. That's the point. You don't cross the border illegally to seek asylum. You go to the U.S. consulate. You get in line at the border like everybody else. That's the point. That's the issue. And again, Trump, I think, has a bad attitude towards immigration, but he raises things that when you think about it, you go, and again, I think it's an extreme view, basically saying if people come here illegally, we should let them stay anyway. I don't think most Americans agree with that. I don't think most Americans like people coming illegally. Again, legally, yes. Illegally, I don't like it. I really don't. I don't. But again, you've got to then think of the economic. That's a different question. Somebody said, who picks the food in the fields? That's an economic question. Trump is not being smart about talking about kicking everybody out, because the people who are here illegally do a lot of the work that Americans don't do, and they get paid like 1/3 of what Americans get paid. So you start kicking out the people that are picking the food. You start kicking out the people working in restaurants doing catering, and all of a sudden restaurant prices go through the roof. catering prices go through the roof. Food prices go through the roof from picking food in the farms and everything else. So you've got to really think of the economic implications of cracking down on immigration. That's one of the things you got to do. And it's not clear yet whether Trump is doing that, but that's another thing. You got to consider all of it. You've got to consider, justice, what's fair, but also, are we screwing our own country over by kicking people out? You've got to consider that too, Oh, there you go. Poll is saying, as someone in the animal agriculture field, no immigrants means no workers for the low income jobs. Oh, interesting. So basically, you can't even get Americans to do well, or you'd have to raise the wages, but that means passing it along to consumers. So all of a sudden, you get inflation, right? I mean, that's the danger. People say just hire Americans, but Damien told me, for example, that catering companies typically hire a lot of people here, illegally, to be busboys and things, right? Serving food at catering events. He said catering companies pay like $11 an hour to people, immigrants, right? Americans get $33 an hour. He said, if you kick out all the immigrants, all the catering events are going to have to pay $20 more per hour per man. Typically, you have 20 men or women, whatever, serving at a typical catering event. That's $400 an hour more for a typical catering event in Washington if we kick out all the illegals. Now, maybe that's what people want to do, but if you want to pay $2,000 to $3,000 more for your event, okay, but be prepared for that to happen. It's not a very poor argument. No, there is an economic argument involved. And people have to think about our economy, and are you willing to accept it? For example, on all the trade stuff, Trump talks about putting tariffs on all the goods. I'm not willing to pay 25% more for my iPhone. I'm not willing to pay 25% more for refrigerators, for all the technology I use and need. I am absolutely, so that it's made in America, so they make it in America instead. No way, right? You're going to pay 25% more for your iPhone? Or your computer? When I'm buying a laptop that's already $2,000, I'm going to pay another $500 for that to be made in the US completely and not imported or whatever? Are you crazy? No, but I mean, there's no way I would accept that. And I think most Americans would not, unless you're rich. Most people are going to go, it's like people who tell me to boycott Amazon. And I'm like, you think I'm going to spend more going somewhere else for the same TV? Why would I do that? And just the difficulty of going there. I don't have a car, but I'm not going to spend more money. And people like to think we will, but we're not. We're just not, So that's the problem with the immigration stuff, but also with the tariff stuff. Americans are not willing to pay significantly more unless they're rich, Yeah, 25% more for cars and houses. Exactly. Cars. Trump's talking about huge tariffs on cars. A lot of our cars are assembled in Mexico. Houses, the tariffs on Canada for lumber is going to increase housing prices. So, but that's what becomes difficult is I don't think people are willing to pay I'm not willing to pay significantly more for it to be made in America. No, I'm not. I'm really not. A little bit more, sure. Same price, I'd rather buy in America, but significantly more, no way. 25% more, no way. No way. Yeah, people only have so much money. Exactly, Rob. Oh, la, 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 la. And it could be more than that too, Yeah. If we buy Greenland, we can offset the tariffs. There you go. There you go. Other countries don't do it. I mean, the way there is something in trade, in economics and trade called autarky. And it was this crazy theory that some Latin American countries and some developing countries had 100 years ago or whatever. And they are maybe less, where they were like, we're going to be independent and we're going to create, like Argentina was building cars, for example. We're going to build everything domestic. And it was this point of pride. And what they realized was, if you jack of all trades, master of none, if you make everything in your country, you're not going to be as good at it and it's going to be expensive. Sometimes it's cheaper to buy stuff from other countries. Sometimes it's cheaper to make your stuff in other countries. So it all depends. If you want stuff that isn't as good and you want stuff that's more expensive, then have everything made in America. Now, some things are going to be as good. I mean, the American stuff is generally going to be pretty good, though, right? So quality in America is good. But if you want to pay a lot more, have everything made in America. Okay. All right. You know, what else we got? What else we got? So really, coffee beans. What makes me think American is better? I think we tend to produce quality goods. It depends. I mean, it depends. My TV, I got a great TV. Is it Chinese even? Hisense? What's the brand? Is it Chinese? It's a fabulous TV though. So much cheaper than American or the other ones. Hisense is British? Get out of here. Get out of here. I was convinced it was Chinese. No way it's British. Is it? No way. Also, because of the prices makes me suspicious. The prices are excellent, which makes me think which would make me think it's not British. I would think it would be much more. Let me look. British. I'm shocked. Well, okay. It began in 1969 as a manufacturer of radios in China, but it's a Chinese multinational. Sorry. Hisense Group is a Chinese multinational major appliance electronics manufacturer headquartered in Guangdong, Shandong province. Televisions are the main products. Yep. Sorry, kiddos. You probably have a branch there. Sorry. I wish it were British. I'd love my TV to be British, but it's Chinese. Yep. So there you go. What do you do? I love my Samsungs too, but I will say this is a lot cheaper than Samsung. It's to die for. Absolutely to die for, this TV. I love it. Love it. I have never been this happy with a TV in my life. British TV would tell one Monty Python joke an hour. Well, again, who knows? Maybe some of the other ones aren't as good, but this thing is just Hisense. It's called Hisense. It's the better. There's like a cheaper one and a better one. I got the better one. That's more in the $600 and up range versus $400 or whatever. It's to die for. I forget the number on it. I'm shocked at how good it is. I mean, I'm just shocked. Yeah. Anyway, it's just a scratch. I don't think it's OLED. I think it's that thing right before. I can't remember. It's you're asking me I feel like this is another Monty Python episode. I'm gonna get thrown off the bridge here. U7 or U8? Let me look. I'll tell you which one it was just to tell you, since it is. I get nothing for this. I just think it's a fabulous TV. What's interesting is the ratings on Amazon were all like 4 stars. And okay, really? It signed me out of my, oh my God, come on. It signed me out of my Amazon. Don't do this to me. Let's see. I could always check on my, if we have to, I can check on my, oh, screw this. I'm going to go check on my computer. It's easier there. I'll tell you what make it is. I think it's the U8 though. Oops. Amazon. because I love this thing so much. And I did get a 65 because my nephews were like, get a 65. I wasn't going to, and I changed my mind at the last minute. It is the U8 series. So it's a Hisense 65 U8N as in Nancy. So 65 U8N as in Nancy. It's an it's a ULED 4K smart TV. It's to die for. I am shocked at how good it is. I mean, again, I'm not a tech guy. That's what is it down to that price again? That's what I got it for, Angie. That's what I got it for. Yeah. The price went down for Prime Day or Super Thursday, whatever it was. I mean, it's not a cheap TV, but my TV was 10 years old. I am very thrifty about TVs. Yeah, that TV was $899 here. But again, that's after 10 years. I save my TV, and my 10-year-old TV is in my bedroom. So I save until I have to, but it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I am shocked, and I am not a TV person I mean, I am a TV person, but I'm not a tech person where I can tell you about the black values and stuff that I'm not good at. After taxes, no, after taxes, it might have been $40 and taxes might have been 4% or something. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. So maybe $950 after taxes. It wasn't, we don't have VATs like you guys have there. No, my old TV is starting to get those lights appearing. It's got 2 lights already, like bright lights on the screen where the bulbs go bad, and it's 10 years old. And I'm just waiting for the day the TV dies, and I'm a little afraid of it dying at a point when other TVs are not on sale. So I finally looked around. I had gotten a TV earlier this year on sale. I hated it, the TLC. You guys told me to return it, and I did. And I waited another 6 months, saw this. The interesting thing is the reviews are at the end of the show. Sometimes we just sort of hang out and talk. So this is our hangout and talk period. The reviews on Amazon, people on Amazon gave it like 4 stars out of 5, which isn't that good. The reviews on the Tom's review, what are the other big reviews? Ratings.com. Those guys freaking loved it. It is glorious, absolutely glorious. That's the problem. Getting rid of them are not easy if they die. That's the other problem. Yeah, I know. They're too heavy and they're too big. I typically wait. Well, my phone, the battery starts going bad after 2 years. I typically wait 3 years for a phone. The brand is Hisense, Hisense. So sense, like sense, Hisense. Mine's the U8. Now, again, different. The U7, a little bit different from the U8. The U8, the 65-inch I got I am not seeing any problem with when you're off to the side, the screen gets worse. The 55-inch or the 55-inch, I think, it does get worse when you get to the side with the screen. So little differences of even the inches of the screen of the quality of the TV. So you want to Google and read up on it. But again, it's not cheap. But if you're keeping it for 10 years like I do, it's a great deal. But I also got it on sale. Lots of interesting Ukraine news, Martin. Yeah, Costco did not have a deal when I was looking. But yeah. Now, but what is it going for now on Amazon though? Is it back to $8.99 again? Oh, it's back to $8.99 again. Oh, that's good. That's good. Okay. It is back to $8.99. That's good. Yeah. Very good. That's what I got it for. That was a damn good price. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, no, I do believe in working your technology. The refrigerator is still going strong. Exactly, Carol. I try to save my stuff until it dies. So my fridge is still going. It's 20 years old. 19 years old, actually. It's having issues, but it's still going strong. I got the point we're at now, I got maybe almost a year out of it at this point. So that's good. but I like to kind of milk the technology as long as, and I love having a TV. I've never had a TV. I haven't had a TV in my bedroom in 30 years. And I moved my old TV in the bedroom and I just love it. Absolutely love it. I do not have a Samsung fridge. No, no, I know. I've heard the dangers. Samsung and the other one, LG, people hate their fridges. I know we've talked about that. Um, but my TLC, people love. It was terrible on my end. People love it. This TV is gorgeous. I will say I followed everybody else's advice and I finally set the TV to filmmaker mode on every setting, filmmaker mode, and then you adjust it. But it's pretty damn good. Your LG is good. That's good. Oh my. Anyway, but again, TVs, I think I would say the one thing is, like with Amazon, last time I'm really glad I didn't like the TV. I bought the TLC or whatever, and I returned it. And I'm glad I returned it because I got this one. And literally it is such a joy watching this TV. It makes me so happy. It's just, the quality is insane. Yeah, I like Sony too. A little pricey for me, but I do love Sony. Yeah. Wonderful. Sony. I mean, fabulous, right? Thank you, Maddie, for the gift. Anyway, yes, so I'm happy. And hopefully I can have this TV for another 10 years. Oh, so what else, guys? What else? Canada, is Canada threatening us with electricity now too? Honestly, I think, with Trump making these threats on trade with Europe and Canada, I think you have to threaten back. I really do. I mean, it's going to be painful, but I'm not sure what you do. Because he's just going to keep doing this to you. Your Sony TV is 20 years old. Wow. That's amazing. Wow. But yeah, I kind of think you need to push back, I mean, you need to defend Denmark. I would absolutely go and defend Denmark. And Canadians, if he's threatening to put the tariffs, make it clear you're going to put the tariffs back, Sasha wants more water. One moment, and then we're going to go in a second here. All right. Whoa, there you go. All right. Oh boy. Draw the line at defending Denmark. They do, though. They need to. Maple syrup, exactly. Ozempic. I mean, that's the thing. Ozempic comes from Denmark. That's what people don't get. That's the miracle drug people have been taking to lose weight. It literally comes from Denmark. You don't want to mess with that. You really don't want to mess with that. Thank you, Street Rat. Exactly. She's tinkling by her bowl, drinking as always. 15-year-old TV. That's nice. My first good TV kind of stopped doing well after 6 years. This second one, Samsung, of course. It's on year 9. It's getting some bright bulbs, but otherwise it's fabulous. And I got the Amazon Fire Stick, which solved the RAM problem because the TV didn't have enough RAM, so it would crash. It would do weird things. The Fire Stick solved all those problems. So, oh my God, it's like new again. And this TV is just, like I said, glorious, absolutely glorious. Your Panasonic's a 20-year-old plasma. That's amazing. Wow. Yeah, no, I love my Panasonic. I've had 2 Panasonics. The first one did die after 6 years or started dying. The second one, like I said, 9.5 years, knock on wood, no problems, but yeah, no more Legos. Oh, that's true. Legos come from Denmark too. I forgot about that. Oh, ruh-roh. We did talk about Trump ending aid to all the countries. Yep. I even did a TikTok on that one. Actually, I need to probably do a YouTube as well. Oh, hey, Heidi. Anyway, a 1080p and a 4K. Well, when you got the good stuff on, oh my God. Like I was watching The Diplomat and the new season. Hello. You YouTubers got to see her. She kind of ran up and did her I'm here. My dog, she did this really cute thing on YouTube running up, but she kind of, it's almost like, hello. It was really cute. It was very cute. Um, anyway. All right, guys. I think I'm going to call it quits. Yeah, I don't have the JFK files released yet, but I think let's call it quits. We will. I'll be back tomorrow anyway. I'll be back tomorrow anyway for the paid subscribers. So monthly subscribers, remember tomorrow. Join us at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, US, on TikTok, on YouTube, on Discord. Sasha, I just gave you water. Oh, she wants me to do. Of course, she wants me to brush her teeth and give her a treat. Of course, of course. Thank you, Buller. I appreciate that. Or Bueller, depending what you go by. Bueller. All right, guys. For those of us not able to afford to, does it help you to watch the whole commercial? Yes. Actually, yes. Yes. Thank you, Rob. It does. Vlad has been kind of MIA. I'm going to ask him again, but he's been kind of missing lately. I'm going to write him again right now. As always, you are missed. Feel free to join us Saturday. All right. I just hate to bother him, but clearly he's been crazy busy, and he's a dad too with Vicky and stuff too. So, I try not to, bother. But yes, I think it does help to watch the whole commercial. It's money, but also my guess is it may tell the algorithm that my people are watching commercials and they give me better commercials. Who knows? All right. I'm going to get going, guys. The dog is whining, but, thank you all. I will see some of you tomorrow for the monthly show, and the rest of you, I will see you on Monday. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a very good weekend all. All right. All right. Let me start with you guys over on Goodbye Discord. TV over 10 years. Excellent, Straight Rat. All right. Just gonna quietly. And now YouTube. Goodbye. TikTok, you're next. All right. Bye, YouTube. Thank you. Oh, and see. Oh, great. That's great, Syndicate. Do that. Of course. Absolutely. All right. See you guys on YouTube. And there we go.